Hi everybody, my name is Clay King and I'm a mission integration technician at Dynamic Aviation and also a Liberty University alumni. Let me tell you a little bit about what I like about my job. First of all, I get to work directly with the customer by installing their equipment and I get to see Dynamic Aviation's mission in action. Second thing is the environment here. It's very fluid, everybody is very helpful and friendly, and it's very family oriented. Last thing is, every time I come in, the work is never the same on a day-to-day basis. It creates a unique challenge every day. Currently, Dynamic Aviation is looking for mechanically inclined people to be hired on the shop floor. If you have an A&P, that's great, and the more experience, the better. Let me tell you about a few reasons you should come work with me at Dynamic Aviation. We operate and maintain many aircraft that help out with scientific research, protecting people around the globe, and advancements in aviation technology. For example, this aircraft that I'm sitting on right here is being operated by NASA to collect data on the Mississippi River Delta. Another example of some of the cool projects we get to work on here at Dynamic are projects like NASA's AVERIS project, which is an infrared imaging spectrometer. This sensor could fly over a highway and tell you what percentage of the ground is asphalt, concrete, motor oil dripped by cars, or even animal droppings. There's so many wonderful opportunities here at Dynamic, whether that's traveling to exotic places, working with people who become like family, or since we do all our production in-house, if you're interested in welding, composites, sheet metal, or regular shop maintenance, there's a place for you here. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you soon.
My name is John Hilbert, school counselor at J. Frank Hilliard, and I have some an exciting career to bring to you. Today we have Megan Kerglet, and she works for Dynamic Aviation. She graduated at Tennessee College of Applied Technology in Morristown, Tennessee. She says she's been a certified AP since April 2020. So my big question to her was, what is A and P? Well, A stands for airframe, and P stands for power plant. And power plant basically is the engines they work on the engines of the airplane, right? And then you have the airframe, which is pretty much everything else that is, connected and put together that makes an airplane, right? So the training that she received was 18 months. She got certified to do this. It's also FFA approved. So any repairs that she makes on the airplanes, it's a legal repair. They have to make sure they go ahead and mark off or put a code in and script that into their log, saying that they have in fact worked on a particular plane. She is this is, I believe, about 6 to 8 months. She's fairly new within this career, and we look forward to hearing from Megan and what she has to say about what she does as a mechanic, and then also, the pathway. How did she come about, in this particular career to work for Dynamic Aviation in Bridgewater, Virginia?
We do have Megan on the phone, so she just joined us right now. So with kind of the firewall and technical difficulties, thank you for hanging in here. So Megan, welcome to the call and welcome to the session here to learn about mechanics and A&P there at Dynamic.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be here.
Hey, Megan. This is John here. So thank you for being a part of Rockingham and Harrisonburg Works. We certainly are appreciative of your time. And I want to just get an idea, if you could just discuss a little bit as far as what you do, what a day-to-day looks like for you, and then maybe just talk a little bit about how you were able to land this awesome career.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the great things about working here is that you never know what you're going to be doing from day to day. Every day is a new adventure and a new opportunity to learn new things, and it's just been an amazing experience since day one. As far as what I did to get here, I attended a technical college in Tennessee. There is an 18-month program. It's generally about 18 months that an AMP goes through to get certificated. And that's a federal regulation. The FAA sets a certain number of hours you must attend, an accredited technical, program before you can take the exams and get your AMP certificates. And so, it's in the grand scheme of things, not a lot of time. A year and a half is not too bad. And the good news is a lot of times you graduate with little to no student debt, and you immediately start, you hit the ground running, and it's been awesome.
Okay, wait a minute. You said no student debt. How much?
I graduated with no student debt.
Wow. Okay, so you graduate. Okay, so did you find that you had to work your way through, or how expensive is the program?
It depends on the school you go to. There are schools out there that are actually pretty costly, but I attended a local technical college, and many of them in the area do have aviation maintenance programs. So if you're lucky enough to find a local community college, Tennessee, I obviously went to school in Tennessee, so they did have a program that, they had a scholarship that paid for my tuition. Materials I paid for out of pocket, but like I said, in the grand scheme of things, I was able to graduate with no student debt. And I worked my way through school only because I went back to school as an adult. So I had adult bills to pay still. And, it's really an affordable way to earn a very, good living. So.
Right. Well, I know a lot of the students out there, just like me, are curious. The salary, not necessarily how much you make, but what's the starting pay for an A&P technician, mechanic, for these days?
Again, that's really going to depend on where you go. Basically, when I was job hunting, before I even started, I looked around at jobs to see, kind of where the pay salary was falling. And, if you hook up with a large company like, for example, FedEx, they pay their A&P technicians very, very well. And then you can work anywhere from these large corporations to these smaller, kind of mom and pop shops. Dynamic is really interesting because it's a fairly large company, in my opinion. I think we have, a little over 600 employees, but honestly, it's got kind of a very small town feel to it. So it's very comfortable, and I really enjoy working here.
That is good. Thank you for that. So I know as I teach, careers and exploratories and those types of things, I know that, it's really important to find something that you really enjoy doing. That's your passion. And from my understanding of some of my talks with Megan, this is something that Megan, could you just share a little bit about, how 10 years ago, you were thinking about this and how it kind of all came together?
Sure. What happened was about 10 years ago, I had the opportunity to take a trip to Europe, and I spent 2 weeks there just traveling around, and it was awesome. And I just fell in love with it. And I came back and I said to myself, I need a job that lets me travel the world, to see the world. That would just be, the best. So I thought about the industries that might allow me to do that, and aviation obviously was one of them. And so I looked into the aviation maintenance career path 10 years ago. And honestly, when I looked around for schools, all I could find were these higher end, higher priced schools, and I couldn't afford it. So I kind of, at the time, I had a job that I really enjoyed, so I didn't really pursue it too too much. And I just kind of put the dream on the shelf and went back to work, and everything was fine. And 10 years down the road, I realized it really was time for me to make a career change. And I came back to this aviation maintenance idea, and I looked around, a little more in depth, and I realized there was a technical college right down the road from me. And all of a sudden the goal was very attainable and very reachable. And so I went for it, and I've not looked back since. I've loved every minute of it.
Yeah, that is, I think that's just one of the keys. Obviously, you want to pick a career that, or choose a career that, you can make sure you can afford your lifestyle, so to speak, and what you want. But also, I think it's even more imperative to be involved in a career that you really enjoy, that you're passionate about. And so just a few questions here, Megan. Are there opportunities for high school students, or will Dynamic Aviation maybe send them back to school, or is there like an introductory position for high school students? Or
I know
I should say for graduated high school students.
And actually, Sarah can speak a little more knowledgeably about this than I can.
We actually
take that question over to her.
Yeah, we do have Sarah on the stream here. So let me bring Sarah up to be able to ask those questions for high school students then.
Okay.
Hey, Megan, thanks for that.
Hey.
So we hope to offer internships every year. We had 30 interns on site last year, doing anywhere from aircraft maintenance, restoring the first Air Force One, to moving parts around and helping our logistics team demodify and overhaul airplanes. We've had marketing interns. We've had IT interns. So it really just depends on your interests and what you're looking for, and kind of what we have at the moment open for our business as well. But yes, internships have been wonderful. A lot of our leadership has actually grown up through the ranks. My boss, the VP of HR, he's actually started out as an intern all those years ago. So
So
start somewhere.
Yeah, that's really interesting that, he started out as an intern. Was he a high school student, or was he a high school grad, or?
So for him, he actually went on a tour while he was at EMU. So he was a college student at that point in time, but we definitely had interns kind of stay as well. So 4 of our interns last summer ended up staying on full time afterwards. So it just kind of depends on your situation too. Are you a senior and looking to stay in the area and find work more full time, or are you just kind of figuring out what you're looking for in a career?
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's great. That it sounds like Dynamic Aviation really gives the employee an opportunity to grow within the company, to be an intern, to kind of climb the stair, so to speak. Can you talk about a little bit about the different positions that one would have to go from stage to stage, or I guess that would depend on the area that they're involved in, or if you could just talk about the different areas that are involved in.
Yeah, so you could start out as an internship. So again, it just depends on the business, what position you're looking for, what we need, and then your specific skills and interests. We'll cater it to you as well. We've had some interns on a case-by-case basis say, hey, my summer's booked, but I really want to work during the school year, or, I'm here over winter break. Is there anything I can do? And we kind of just take things depending on what's going on. For non-internship roles, you could start out as entry level in some of our logistics positions. We don't have any aviation maintenance positions open right now on the entry level, but usually we do. And then other than that, we've also done entry level for, you can't start out as a pilot entry level. You have to have some hours under your belt, unfortunately.
That makes sense. I don't know if anybody would really want to ride with me if I hadn't had a whole lot of hours. It might be fun. It would be adventurous, right?
Yes. So it just depends on the area. Corporate, we're able to hire a little bit more newer employees. I started out fresh from college, so it really just depends. And then from there, there's different pathways. So, and I'll let Megan speak to that, but I can definitely add to that as well.
Awesome.
There's lots of options internally.
Honestly, when I started, I was hired in to work on their legacy program, which it was, primarily centered on the restoration of the Air Force One, which was super cool. I mean, that's what a way to start your career, but it wasn't long after I got here that I was able to transfer into the technical operations side of things, which is maintaining our aircraft that actually, fly and perform missions for our customers. And that has been, that's a whole new ball game. Restoration is one thing, but, actually maintaining, operational aircraft is much more fast paced and much more involved. And it's so, like I said, every day is something new and every day is a learning experience. And you just, my philosophy is just learn as much as you can. And eventually, you'll move your way up.
Mhm. Wow. That's very interesting, Megan, that you made a career change and then you were able to go and it sounds like kind of fulfill maybe one of your dreams in becoming, an aviation mechanic. So kudos to you. Sometimes it's harder to do when you're a little older. So if you're going to do this, it helps to be able to go right out of high school and, whether you're going to college or obviously in the workforce, there are some entry level positions here at Dynamic Aviation. Will Dynamic Aviation pay for a student that maybe has an entry level position and they want to move up, or are they responsible to take care of the financial piece?
I believe there is some assistance available. Again, I think Sarah could speak a little more knowledgeably about that than I could. But as I understand it, there is some reimbursement. Is that correct, Sarah?
Absolutely. So we try to, again, case by case basis. So I make the joke that if you want to do underwater basket weaving, you might be on your own because it's not particularly related to what we do here at Dynamic. But if you're trying to pursue something, related, working on your A&P, we help with that tuition reimbursement. If you're a business major and are trying to get your MBA, we work on that as well. So as long as it's related and you're trying to just to follow that same track line, we do offer tuition reimbursement.
Wow. So that's really interesting that, Dynamic Aviation not only provides opportunities for students, just going into the workforce, so to speak, but also students that are, whether they're in college or graduating from college, that there's positions there, to get involved and have a career there. So that's really good. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We try to invest in our employees. They're our biggest asset. And so we want to keep them here and we release them if they decide to go do the underwater basket weaving.
I'm sure you do. What are some things that you require from your employees? Like, is being on time to work important? Those types of, is manners, having manners in how you dress.
Sure.
What is the qualifications there for Dynamic Aviation?
Yeah, I'll speak to this, and Megan, you're welcome to jump in on this. Typically, culture fit are big for us. Showing up to work on time is kind of expected. Mm-hmm. Showing up, dress code, those are basic things that we hope everybody will do. But then beyond that, there's cultural fits. And so we hope that from a base level, the golden rule is huge for us. Treat others as you would be treated. And, we know that it's important to do that from anywhere in the business, because anywhere could have a customer, walking in through the hangar and seeing Megan working on that aircraft and speaking to her. And we hope that they treat her, the customer, with the same respect that the FedEx guy who's dropping off the packages, anyone who walks through our facility would be treated with respect and kindness. And so those are kind of non-negotiables for us. You can't teach anybody that. We can teach you the aircraft part. We can teach you, and oh my goodness, there's lots to learn, but we can teach you the technical side of things, but we can't make you like and be nice to somebody. So
Right.
Those cultural, character pieces are big for us.
If I may,
Go ahead.
I encourage your students, whatever they're interested in, to really follow through with it. If you're determined and enthusiastic about something, by all means, there's a way to do it, and I wish them all the best of success.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you. I really have learned a lot. I live in your backyard, so I'm a lot of times golfing, and I see planes, fly over me fairly close. But it's a thrill, and I'm glad that it sounds like the culture and your respect for one another and for your business partners are top notch. It sounds like you put the customer before the business in some cases. So that's a huge ordeal here in this day and age. So we certainly do appreciate Sarah and Megan for coming on and being a part of this. It's been very educational, very very happy to moderate, facilitate for you two. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, John.
Everybody, feel free to check Dynamic Aviation out on QDIN's website. You can go to qdin.us, create your account, and feel free to take a look at their opportunities and other affiliated companies that might be that have opportunities too in the system. We have over 300 employers and 150 job opportunities there in the system for you.